Have you ever stared at a textbook for hours, highlighted every key sentence, felt completely ready for the exam, and then immediately blanked the second you looked at the first question? We're all taught from a young age that practice makes perfect. If you want to learn something, you reread it, you highlight it, and you review the exact same material over and over again. But cognitive psychologists have spent decades studying how human memory actually works, and they found that this kind of brute force repetition is largely a waste of time. It doesn't build lasting memories. To see why doing exactly what we were told leads to forgetting, we need to look under the hood of the brain. We're going to diagnose this problem by looking at 4 specific mechanics: the exposure fallacy, the illusion of fluency, the short-term trap, and finally, the effort equation. We often assume that if we see something enough times, our brain will automatically record it. This is the exposure fallacy. Think about a standard US penny. You've seen one thousands of times in your life. But if you try to draw the front of it from memory right now, which way is Lincoln facing? Where exactly does it say liberty? Most people have no idea. In a famous study at UCLA, researchers asked people who had worked in the same building for years to locate the fire extinguisher closest to their office. Most failed to recall its location, even though they walked past it every single day. Mere visual exposure does not give your brain a command to save the data. Without a specific reason to anchor the information, repetition is completely blind. This brings us to a specific hazard of studying, the illusion of fluency. When you reread a chapter or review your notes, your brain processes those sentences faster on the second and third pass. That speed creates a strong sense of familiarity. Your brain mistakes this ease of reading for true mastery of the concepts. You feel like you know the material, but you're really just experiencing fluency with the text itself. It's the difference between recognizing a favorite song on the radio and actually being able to play it from scratch on a piano. Recognizing the tune doesn't mean you possess the skill to recreate it. This is why so many students fail exams after hours of reviewing. They master the act of reading the words on the page, but when the text is taken away, the underlying knowledge is gone. The third hurdle is the short-term trap, commonly known as cramming or massed practice. Firing through the same flashcards or repeating a single skill over and over in a compressed window feels highly productive because you see rapid improvement in the moment. But biologically, that information is just looping inside short-term memory. Because it's fed continuously, it never anchors to deeper networks of prior knowledge. Once rapid-fire repetition stops, short-term memory acts like a leaky bucket. Without deeper connections, the information vanishes instantly. Cramming physically denies the brain the time and space it needs to build the permanent structural pathways required for retention. The antidote to mindless repetition is what we can call the effort equation. To build lasting memory, you must allow yourself to forget slightly. Look away from the material and force your brain to reconstruct the answer from scratch. When you struggle to retrieve information, that physical cognitive effort thickens and rewires your brain's pathways for permanent storage. True learning is never measured by how many times you review something. It is measured entirely by how much effort you exert to recall it. So beware the exposure fallacy. Avoid the illusion of fluency. Escape the short-term fap of cramming and embrace the effort equation. Repetition alone tricks you into feeling smart, but true learning only happens when you force your brain to struggle.
Thank you for watching, and always keep learning.